Hey guys, welcome to episode number 8 of the Athletes in Adversity podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 Super Bowls of all time, and along with some honorable mentions I'll throw in there. With that, make sure to go follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, all at Athletes in Adversity, as well as my Twitter at AthletesPod. Also, go support the show for as little as 99 cents a month right on Anchor.fm, or if you want to be more generous, go pledge up to $50 a month on my Patreon, Athletes in Adversity. So with that, let's get today's show started. Just for some clarification, this is an article on BleacherReport.com by Christopher Knox. It's titled Ranking the Top 10 Super Bowls of All Time. Now I'm going to mix up this article a little bit. I'm going to get in my insight. He ranks it a little different than I do, but that's where I'm getting most of my information from today. Now let's start with some honorable mentions. This is in no particular order. These are just some of my favorites. Super Bowl 52. Eagles 41, Patriots 33. Super Bowl 52, it was a good show, but back and forth battles between the Eagles and the Patriots. Of course, there's that Philly special and the Brandon Graham strip sack on Brady that put the Eagles in the position to win. And then Brady tried throwing that Hail Mary at the end, but it didn't work out. And Nick Foles got a Super Bowl ring. Nick freaking Foles got a Super Bowl ring. I just can't believe that to this day. Over Carson Wentz, who tore his ACL in the regular season. That was probably one of the craziest seasons in NFL history. The Eagles came out carrying their first Lombardi trophy over the Patriots in that game. Now, another honorable mention for me is Patriots and Panthers, Super Bowl 38, I think. 38, Super Bowl 38, Patriots, Panthers. Patriots 32, Panthers 29. It was the second championship in the Patriots dynasty. Of course, Adam Vinatieri hit that last second field goal before they had to do a kickoff, and that was the end of the game. That was a great game. Second Patriots Super Bowl. It was the tale of two halves. Patriots and Carolina Panthers went scoreless for 27 minutes in that game before combining to 24 points inside the final 4 minutes of the first half, and it was a back-and-forth game until Vinatieri hit that game winner at the end. Now, Super Bowl 47, Ravens 34, 49ers 31. Super Bowl 47 had great memories. They had the kickoff return touchdown. And, of course, the power outage, 34-minute power outage that derailed the game and derailed the Ravens' momentum in that game. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about that. Maybe I'll do an episode on the lights going out in Super Bowl 47. Who knows what the future holds. The San Francisco 49ers, again, scored 17 unanswered points after the blackout. They also had a chance to win the game late in the fourth quarter. But even with the Ravens derailed, the Ravens came back on a 4th and goal to stop and escape with victory. They made the 4th and goal stop. And this game was also between the coaching brothers of John and Jim Harbaugh. Let's talk my number 10 on this list. Super Bowl 23, San Francisco 49ers, Cincinnati Bengals. Final score of that game, 49ers 20, Bengals 16. Now, there was no shortage of drama in Super Bowl 23. 49ers wide receiver Jerry Rice just ran all over the Bengals defense. He finished with 215 yards and a touchdown. This, of course, the only Super Bowl the Bengals competed in, or they may have competed in 2, I'm not too sure. But the Bengals took a 16-13 lead with just over 3 minutes remaining. And, of course, Joe Montana calmly moved the 49ers down the field 92 yards in 11 plays, and threw the go-ahead touchdown pass to John Taylor with just 34 seconds left. There was other notable moments in the game. Besides the 49ers' incredible final drive, Bengals defensive lineman Tim Krume with a broken leg, and 49ers offensive tackle Steve Willis with a broken ankle. They both suffered major injuries early in the first quarter. Super Bowl 23 is also marked as the final time Bill Walsh would coach the San Francisco 49ers. Number 9 on my list, I have Super Bowl 43, Steelers 27, Cardinals 23. There was a lot of build-up to this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers were looking for their record 6th Lombardi trophy. Quarterback Kurt Warner was on the downside of his career, but wanted to one more with the Cardinals, and he wanted to lead them to their first championship ever. And of course, this was the Cardinals' first championship game. The Steelers ended up winning on a touchdown pass from Ben Roethlisberger to wide receiver Santonio Holmes with 35 seconds left in the game. This came after Cardinals receiver Larry Fitzgerald scored the go-ahead 64-yard touchdown with less than 3 minutes remaining. And of course, this is known as the tightrope catch near the end of the game. It is remembered as one of the top plays in Super Bowl history. This game also had another memorable moment as James Harrison 100-yard interception return touchdown with no time left on the clock before halftime. Obviously a great game by both teams, and the Steelers came out on top in this one. Number 8 on my list here, I have Super Bowl III. Of course, this was the one with the Jets beating the Colts 16-7. Super Bowl III was a greater game off the field than it was on the field, if I'm being honest. 16-7 was really a defensive battle. Didn't have a lot of bright moments, and it wasn't really that close. But Joe Namath, the MVP, actually didn't even attempt a pass in the fourth quarter. However, this Super Bowl is represented as one of the biggest upsets in sports up to that point because, of course, this was the AFL versus the NFL, and the NFL, of course, won the first 2 Super Bowls. So this really put the AFL into consideration that they are as good as the NFL. And, of course, it's known Namath infamously guaranteed a victory for the New York Jets. Number 7 on my list, I have Super Bowl XIII between the Steelers and Cowboys. Steelers won this one 35-31. There was a lot of build-up to Super Bowl XIII. It was the second time the Cowboys and the Steelers matched up. It was a rematch of Super Bowl X. The Cowboys were the defending champions at this time. Pittsburgh pulled out a victory again this time, but there was a ton of drama along the way. The Steelers took a 21-17 lead into the fourth quarter and then scored 14 unanswered points. Dallas then responded, though, scoring a touchdown and recovering an onside kick, and then scoring again to pull back within 4, with just 22 seconds remaining. The second onside kick attempt failed for Dallas, and Pittsburgh ran out the clock by kneeling. Obviously a great game towards the end. There was a number of firsts in this game. It was the first Super Bowl rematch. It was the first time a defending champion lost in the title game, and the first time a losing Super Bowl participant scored 30 points. It also led to the first of 2 Super Bowl MVP awards for Steelers quarterback Terry Bradshaw, who threw for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns in this game. Number 6 on my list, I have Super Bowl 25 between the Giants and the Bills. Super Bowl 25 was one of the most hotly contested Super Bowl games in the modern era. For Buffalo Bills fans, it was also one of the most painful Super Bowls ever. Buffalo had a chance to win at the end of the game, but Scott Norwood's 47-yard field goal attempt with 8 seconds remaining went wide right, of course, the famous call, wide right. It remains the only potential Super Bowl winning kick with under 10 seconds left from a team that was losing. This game was great for other reasons besides the memorable miss at the end. Thurman Thomas, 135 yards, 1 touchdown performance in a losing effort was historic, as was the game itself. It marked the first of 4 straight title appearances for Buffalo, and of course they all lost. Buffalo Bills lost 4 straight Super Bowls. It was the second Super Bowl victory for the Giants. Head coach Bill Parcells in the second, and the last for Bill Belichick as a New York defensive coordinator. Belichick was then hired as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns right after the Super Bowl. He went on to join the Patriots years later, and the rest, of course, is history for Belichick. Now, number 5 on my list, I have Super Bowl 34 between the Rams and Titans. Rams won this one 23-16, of course, with 1 yard short at the end. It was Warner. He was nearing the end of his career when he took the Cardinals to the Super Bowl, and in this Super Bowl, he was just getting started. He won it for the Rams, of course. He was never supposed to be the guy to do it. He was an Arena Football star. He was an Arena Football League standout. He actually won an Arena Football League title. And he went on to form, of course, the greatest show on turf with receivers Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, and of course, Marshall Faulk at running back. It will require all the might of Warner in this game. He threw for 414 yards, 2 touchdowns, and, of course, MVP of the game to beat the Tennessee Titans. Of course, Mike Jones made the tackle at the end of the game against Kevin Dyson as the clock expired, and they remained 1 yard short. This was the only time the Titans had a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl, but, of course, they came up short on this one. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Athletes in Adversity podcast. Make sure to go follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, all at Athletes in Adversity, as well as my Twitter at AthletesPod. Also, go support the show for as little as 99 cents a month right on Anchor.fm. Or if you want to be more generous, go pledge up to $50 a month and receive exclusive benefits on my Patreon, Athletes in Adversity. So with that, let's continue today's episode. Super Bowl 36, number 4 on this list. Patriots 20, Rams 17. Of course, one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. It marked the start of the Patriots dynasty and essentially the end of the greatest show on turf. It is known for that widely recognized kick at the end of the game that gave the Patriots the 20-17 victory at the end. Patriots dominated for most of the game. And, of course, it was a great Super Bowl at the end of it. Number 3 on my list, I have Super Bowl 51, Patriots 34, Falcons 28. All you have to do in this situation is utter the phrase 28-3, and most football fans will know that you're referencing Super Bowl 51. That's the deficit the Patriots faced in the third quarter against the Atlanta Falcons before they stormed back to win in overtime. This game is memorable as either the greatest comeback in the history of the Super Bowl or the greatest choke job in the history of the Super Bowl, depending on where you view it. The Falcons mismanaged the clock in the fourth quarter, but that shouldn't take away from the comeback led by Brady with 466 passing yards, and James White had 139 yards from scrimmage and 3 touchdowns. There were standout individual moments too, like Julio Jones' amazing catch on the sideline that should have sealed the game, and the unbelievable diving grab of Julian Edelman that led the Patriots down the field to another touchdown that helped the Patriots lead the comeback in Super Bowl 51. Number 2 on my list, I have Super Bowl 42 between the Giants and the Patriots. Giants, of course, won this 17-14. Nobody can really forget this Super Bowl. It was supposed to be the year the Patriots became the second team ever to have a perfect season. They went 16-0 in the regular season, but the defense of the Giants had other plans this game. They harassed Brady throughout the whole game, and they held Randy Moss to only 62 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Of course, it took some clutch play from Giants quarterback Eli Manning down the stretch to deliver the go-ahead score with just over a minute remaining in the game. Of course, it is most known for that play that Manning put together as he broke free from the Patriots' pass rush and launched the ball downfield to David Tyree, who caught it by pinning it against his helmet. 4 plays later, Manning found Plaxico Burress for the winning score of the game. It was the biggest upset in Super Bowl history, and the Tyree catch remains one of the most memorable plays in league history. However, it wasn't the play that sealed the win, unlike the most memorable Super Bowl, in my opinion, in the final entry of this list. And number 1, Super Bowl 49, Patriots 28, Seahawks 24. This game had everything you could want in a Super Bowl. It has a place in history. It has a comeback. It's one of the most memorable games of all time. The Seahawks were looking to cement their dynasty with a second Super Bowl win, and the Patriots were looking to prove theirs wasn't over by winning their first title since the 2004 season. When the Seahawks carried a 10-point lead into the fourth quarter, it appeared they would come out on top. However, Tom Brady and the Patriots racked up 14 fourth-quarter points. They then sealed the game when the Seahawks decided to pass from the 1-yard line instead of handing the ball to Marshawn Lynch. Malcolm Butler, of course, picked off Russell Wilson's pass, and the Patriots ran out the clock to cap one of the wildest games in Super Bowl history. and number 1 on the list of the top 10 Super Bowls of all time. Hey guys, thank you all for listening to today's episode of the Athletes in Adversity podcast. Make sure to go follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, all at Athletes in Adversity, as well as my Twitter at AthletesPod. Also, go support the show for as little as 99 cents a month right on Anchor.fm. Or if you want to be more generous, go pledge up to $50 a month on my Patreon, Athletes in Adversity. So with that, we're going to end the show today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for listening to the Athletes in Adversity podcast.